In today's lesson, we will be reading an article from Al Jazeera News. Let's look at the headline. Over 300 South Koreans to return home after arrests at US Hyundai plant. Let's look at the first paragraph. More than 300 South Korean workers detained in the United States in an immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home, the South Korean government has announced. Let's practice with detained. Detained is a verb. To detain is to officially force someone to stay in a place. The article says more than 300 South Korean workers detained in the United States. According to the article, over 300 South Korean workers were taken into custody by US authorities and were not allowed to leave. Let's practice with detained. The police detained the man for stealing a bike. I was detained at school because the teacher wanted to talk to me. Let's look at the next word in our lesson, immigration raid. Immigration raid is a noun phrase. Immigration raids happen when immigration officers or authorities suddenly enter a place such as a factory, warehouse, or a house to check people's documents and arrest anyone who is working illegally. The article says, in an immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. According to the article, the US authorities raided a Hyundai plant in Georgia to check if the South Koreans had the appropriate visas to work in the USA. Let's practice with immigration raid. Many workers were arrested during an immigration raid at the restaurant. He was arrested during an immigration raid because he overstayed his visa. Let's look at the second paragraph of our lesson. Presidential Chief of Staff Kang Hon-sik said Sunday that South Korea and the US had finalized negotiations on the release of the workers whom US immigration authorities had detained on Thursday. Let's look at the third word in our lesson. Finalized is a verb. To have finalized means to have reached a conclusion on something. The article says South Korea and the US had finalized negotiations on the release of the workers whom US immigration authorities had detained on Thursday. From the article, we could understand that South Korea and the United States have reached a common understanding on how to move forward with regards to the South Korean workers that were detained by the immigration authorities last Thursday. Let's practice with finalized. Finally, after many months of planning, he and his wife finalized their honeymoon trip to Italy. She finalized her visa process before leaving for Canada. Let's look at the third paragraph in our lesson. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as the remaining administrative steps are completed. Let's look at the fourth word in our lesson, administrative. Administrative is an adjective. Administrative simply means relating to managing or running an organization or office, like handling paperwork, records, schedules, or rules. The article says to bring the workers home as soon as the remaining administrative steps are completed. According to the article, South Korea will be bringing back its citizens the minute the necessary legal procedures for the detained workers are completed. Let's practice with administrative. The school's administrative office takes care of student registration and schedules. The project will start after the administrative work is done. Let's look at the fourth paragraph in our lesson. US immigration authorities said on Friday that they had detained 475 people, most of them South Korean nationals, when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker makes electrical vehicles. Let's look at the fifth word in our lesson: federal agents. A federal agent is a noun. Federal agents are government workers that are responsible for ensuring a country's rules are followed strictly, especially in cases of immigration. According to the article, US immigration officials arrested 475 people, mostly South Koreans, during a raid by hundreds of federal agents at Hyundai's big electrical car factory in Georgia. Let's practice with federal agents. Federal agents detained suspects suspected of smuggling illegal goods across the border. The federal agent carefully examined the crime, documenting every piece of evidence with precision. Now we've reached the reading practice session of our lesson. I will read and I want you to read after me. Listen carefully to what I say, okay? Let's start. More than 300 South Korean workers detained in the United States in an immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia will be released and brought home, the South Korean government has announced. Presidential Chief of Staff Kang Hoon-sik said Sunday that South Korea and the United States had finalized negotiations. Release of the workers whom US immigration authorities had detained on Thursday. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as the remaining administrative steps are completed. US immigration authorities said on Friday that they had detained 475 people, most of them South Korean nationals, when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker makes electrical vehicles. We have come to the end of our lesson. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. Make sure, as always, to subscribe and comment on the word that you've learned. And I look forward to seeing you in another lesson. Take care.